Because I could say that and totally forget that. By the time I post this video, I probably forgot the example that I gave you, right? But if I wrote it down, okay, it's different. Because now I have something physically written down that I can make real. Again, once it's written down, you're already halfway through solving the issue.
5 shows made 3 million a week. You are now looking at the bestie elite. You are now looking at the bestie elite. You are now looking at the best.
Welcome back, besties. I'm Lola Show, and together we're becoming the best, aka our best selves, this year and every year. The best are never the best by themselves, and you shouldn't be either. If you haven't already, join the best here on YouTube by subscribing to this channel, and add your bestie by liking and sharing this with someone that you want the best for. Now, grab your water, and let's go. Okay, bestie, let's lean in. Today, we're talking using your failures to grow your best self in 2025. Now, this was going to be a little bit controversial for me to even talk about because when we think about our best selves, we only think about the success. We only think about the best. We only think about what we aspire. We do not aspire to fail. At least most of us don't, okay? You know, when you've evolved your mentality, you know that failure is not really failure. Failure is just giving up. That's the real failure. But for most everybody else who's really trying to build their best selves in the society that we've created, we don't aspire to fail, okay? Even though it has so much to teach us, even though our successes are on the other side of those failures, nobody likes to fail, okay? So I thought, how about we just change the script, flip it, reverse it here on this channel, okay? That way that even when you do fail, because you will, okay, even when failures occur, which they will, you'll know how to still use them to become the best version of you. All right, so you know what to do. Hopefully you still have your water, okay, and your pencil and your pen. Let's get to it. Now that you got your pencil and paper, we're talking using your failures to grow your best self in 2025. So we have to start out by writing down the failures you had in the last year. Okay, I know there's a lot of failures over a lifetime, but using the last year or the year to this point, depending on when you're listening to this video, okay? As long as you have a little bit more than 60, 90 days, that should be enough, okay? But you want to write down the failures that you deem failures from the last year. So maybe you didn't make the amount of money that you wanted to make. Maybe you didn't travel to the places you wanted to travel to. Maybe you didn't read that new book. Maybe you didn't change how many times you went to the gym. Maybe your style is still exactly the same and you hate it. Okay, maybe you're not as close with your family as you want to be. Whatever those goals were from last year or the last, time period that you're focusing on, write them down. Okay, I've told you guys this on many a video on this channel. Writing it down is solving half the problem because at least now you know what you're dealing with and you can move accordingly. When you write down these failures, do not discriminate. I don't care if it was as small as, you never made it to file your taxes on time, or if it's as like significant as, you lost your car instead of getting a new one. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter how small it is, it doesn't matter how big it is, just write it down. All right. It's going to come much handy, very handy. Much handy is not the way I would have said that. It's going to come in very handy as we go through the next couple of steps. Once you're done writing down the failures that you've had in the last year or so, the next thing that you're going to do is write down what went wrong. Okay? Let me walk you through this example and why I'm telling you guys to write down what you think went wrong. If I said, let's just say we were in this together. And let's say that we said, hey, we're going to go to the gym 5 times a week. Okay? Let's say on my end, it didn't happen. And on your end, it didn't happen. Right? The end result is that neither of us made it to the gym 5 times every single week. What happened and why that was the end result is going to be drastically different for you and for me. For me, it might be during my busy season, I missed days because I was out of town or I was traveling or I was in a different time zone. And instead of doing an at-home workout or trying to find a gym where I just did my job. And when I came home, I did, 2 a days. But if we looked at the year, there were days that I did not go to the gym. That equaled, for the year, me not going to the gym 5 days out of the week. It doesn't matter that the reason was because I was working, right? The end result was still the same. For you, you might have wanted to go to the gym 5 times a week or 5 days out of the week, but for you, you did not like the gym you were at. And so you canceled your subscription. And it took you 2 weeks to find a new gym to go to. So technically for the year, there were weeks where you did not go to the gym 5 days out of the week. The end result was the same. And if you don't write down why that happened, you cannot realistically give yourself a solution as to how to overcome it. Because I wrote down, man, when I travel, sometimes there's not a gym in the hotel. Sometimes I don't have time that day in between traveling to different places to make it to the gym. Like, if I don't write that down, then I'm just going to beat myself up and say, oh, I can never make it to the gym 5 days out of the week. It's so impossible. But when I wrote that down, and I realized the reason that I make it to the gym 5 days out of the week, every single week for the year, I then know, hey, knock, knock. I need to make an adjustment. I need to say, I want to work out 5 days a week instead of I want to go to the gym 5 days out of the week, because I can work out anywhere. I can work out anywhere. I can go run some laps. I can do a HIIT workout inside of the hotel room. I can do some yoga in the lobby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could do a lot of stuff to technically work out. But if I did not write down why that goal did not work out the last year, I would not have the information I need to make a better goal and to have more success moving forward. Do you understand what I'm saying? And for you, it's easy to now realize, like, hey, I just need to make sure I'm working out at a gym that I love. That's it. If you now know that, hey, I have a gym that I love, then you can keep the goal. You didn't fail in the same way that I failed. You found out, like, hey, I got to just make sure I'm going to the place I like. And once I'm at a place that I like, I have a pretty, my life is pretty organized. I can make it to the gym 5 days out of the week because I like where I'm working out. And every time I travel, there's a gym. You see what I'm saying? We have the same outcome, but different reasons why it happened. And now, because we know the different reasons of why it happened, we can use that to make better goals, to have more success moving forward, even though the failure still happened for both of us. The reason we failed was different. And so now that we know our reasons why it didn't work, why we failed, we can now move forward and position ourselves for better success. So now that you're done writing down what went wrong, write down what you learned, okay? I kind of touched on this in my explanation, but if we both failed to go to the gym 5 days a week, right? What did I learn from why I failed? Okay, I travel a lot and there's not always going to be a gym, but I don't want to have excuses. So because I don't want to have excuses when it comes to how I show up and how I invest and work in my body, I need to make a goal that reflects that. Not necessarily where I work out, but making sure that I'm working out without excuses. And then same thing for you in your example that I just totally gave to you off the top of my head. For you, you learned that if you don't like the gym that you're at, you're not going to go, okay? You're not going to make it there 5 days out of the week because you don't like it. And that's okay. Now that you learn that you need to like the places that you're going when you are investing in yourself physically, now you can use that and apply it, okay? That goes for your eating habits. That goes for learning new skills. That goes for, fostering better relationships. Once you actually know why you are failing, you can learn from that. And learning from that allows you to have better successes to come. Now that you know what you learned, it's time to actually write down what you would do differently. So for me, right, in that same example, it's so easy for me to say, yeah, I'll just make sure I work out 5 days a week instead of making it to the gym. But saying that and writing it down is two different things. Because I could say that and totally forget that. By the time I post this video, I probably forgot the example that I gave you, right? But if I wrote it down, okay, it's different. Because now I have something physically written down that I can make real. Again, once it's written down, you're already halfway through solving the issue. All right. So I learned that I need to work on my body 5 days out of the week. I can now write down, okay, a better goal, and then also give myself ways I can do that. Again, I can do yoga for 15 minutes. I can do a HIIT workout for 30 minutes. I can look up a class on YouTube online that, does Pilates. I could go for a couple of laps swimming. I could find a gym that's nearby and then do a workout class there. I can give myself options on how I can succeed moving forward. And the same thing for you. You might realize that, hey, even though making sure I love where I go to work out is important, you might realize that you don't want to limit yourself to the gym either. You might realize that, hey, sometimes it's intimidating to go to the gym classes that are at my gym. I would much rather make sure I do classes at home so I feel more comfortable in my body before I go back to the gym and, continue doing some of these classes on the days that I go. So what you might realize is that hey, after writing down that, the reason you failed at going to the gym 5 days out of the week is because you didn't like the gym you were going to, you might realize that even with you going to this new gym, even though you love it, there are still some things that you're not comfortable with. So you might want to change from just working out by yourself to doing more group classes. But in writing that down, you realize you're not comfortable doing stuff you don't know how to do. So you might want to learn how to do those things at home and then go to the group classes with a little bit more confidence. You see what I'm saying? You can write down how you're going to improve from the failure and get it out of your head and onto something that you can see so that you can properly assess and solve the problem to get the success that you're looking for. See what I mean? So this last one's a little tricky. So after you've written down what you would do differently based on what you learned, you're going to look at the areas in your life that those failures fall in and apply what you would do differently to those areas. What do I mean? So the example I've been giving you guys throughout this entire video has been physical fitness. Okay, it was going to the gym 5 days out of the week. That falls into, for me, my physical appearance. Other things that fall into my physical appearance is my personal style, hair, how I do my nails. Those are all things that are falling into that same category. So if I learned from this process that I don't need to go to the gym 5 days out of the week, I need to make sure I am working out physically 5 days a week. How that looks can be drastically different. It could be 3 Pilates classes on 3 different days, and then an at-home workout, and then running a lap at my local park, right? That still qualifies. So how would I apply that type of thinking from the failure that I just assessed into the other things I'm doing in the physical element of my life? I could then say to myself, hey, having your nails done, every 2 weeks is great, but your nail shop is all the way in Miami, downtown Miami. You're spending 45 minutes in traffic to get down there and get back home every single time you get your nails done. You're spending an hour and a half round trip twice a week. It's a lot. So instead of killing myself to make sure my nails are always done, I could literally invest in press-ons, okay, and learn how to do my nails on my own. And then when I have a very important modeling job, or if I have, a trip that's coming up, then I can go ahead and drive an hour and a half round trip to get my nails done the way that I like to get them done. But for those times where it's just you're on the go, you're traveling all the time, instead of failing at making it to a certain destination, realize why you were doing it in the first place, because you like your nails done. There's other ways to keep my nails done. You see how I took what I learned from failing to make it to the gym 5 days out of the week and how I applied that to getting my nails done? I could also say hey, maybe I only do that once a month. And now I have to make sure I'm oiling my cuticles. I'm getting nail styles that, you can't even tell. My nails are so grown out. It's right now I'd be dying and I'd be rushing to go get them done. But it's just because I got a style where it's this nail color matches my actual nail color, your girl can float. Hello. And I just invested in extra builder gel and stuff like that so that my nails can actually make it through a month instead of just chipping after 7 days. Yeah. But you see how I took what I learned from failing to go to the gym 5 days a week and how I'm applying that to my nails. Same thing for you. If you realize that you need to love where you're going to do physical upkeep, you might apply that to where you get your hair done, okay? You keep your hair up a lot more if you enjoyed your salon. Now you're looking for a salon that you actually enjoy or hairstyles that you enjoy so that you actually keep your hair up more. Maybe you would get massages more. You'd be more relaxed in your life if you actually had a masseuse that you trusted and enjoyed, or you went to a spa to get your massages done instead of, a strip mall. You see what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with either of those, but when you know why you failed at something in that same category, you can use that lesson to make sure that you have better successes across the board in that category. That's all for today, besties. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and comment your best tip below. Remember, the best is yet to come. See you on the next one.